You meet her at a rooftop party in Brooklyn. She's funny, confident, and looks at you like she already knows something about you that you don't. You talk for 3 hours straight. She tells you she works in content creation. You assume she means YouTube or Instagram or maybe a podcast. You don't ask too many questions because honestly, you don't care. She's magnetic. 6 months later, you find out what content creation actually means. And by then, you're already in love. Which means you're already in trouble, she tells you on a Tuesday night, pauses the movie, hands you her phone, and watches your face like she's reading a verdict. You're looking at a profile page with her photos on it. Photos that leave very little to the imagination. She explains the numbers. She makes more money than you, significantly more. She's been doing this for 2 years. She has a team, a schedule, a content calendar. This isn't some side hustle. This is a business. A business built entirely on the fact that thousands of strangers pay a monthly fee to see your girlfriend in ways you thought were reserved for you. You go home that night and sit in your car for 20 minutes before going inside. The next few weeks are a negotiation with yourself. You tell yourself you're a modern guy. You tell yourself it's just a job. You tell yourself jealousy is a sign of insecurity, not love. These are all true statements. They also don't help at all, because knowing something intellectually and feeling it in your chest are two completely different things. You read Reddit threads about guys in your exact situation. Half say run, the other half say grow up. Neither side makes you feel better. You keep dating her anyway because when she's sitting across from you at dinner, laughing at your stupid impression of her doorman, none of the rest of it matters. The problem is that dinner ends, and the rest of it is still there. You tell your best friend at a bar. He asks how much she makes. You tell him. He almost chokes. For about 30 seconds, he's doing math in his head, and you can see the exact moment where his judgment transforms into something closer to respect. Then he asks the question every guy asks. Does it bother you? You say no. He doesn't believe you. You don't believe you either. A year in, you propose. She cries. You cry. It's perfect. Then she posts a photo of the ring on Instagram. Within an hour, comments start rolling in from men who clearly subscribe to her other content, saying things about your fiancé that make your jaw tighten. She doesn't even read them. She's used to it. You're not. You close the app and remind yourself that these people don't know her. They know a version of her she built specifically to be consumed. The woman eating leftover pasta in your sweatshirt is someone they'll never meet. That distinction keeps you sane, most of the time. Your parents find out 3 weeks before the wedding. Your dad is quiet for a long time. Then he asks, "Does she treat you right?" You say yes. He nods. That's it. Your mother is a different situation. She Googles your fiancé's name. She finds things. She calls you at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday, and you can tell she's been crying. You spend 45 minutes explaining digital economies, creator platforms, and personal autonomy. She hears none of it. What she hears is that her son is marrying a woman who takes her clothes off for money. She comes to the wedding anyway. She's polite. She tries. That's enough for now. The wedding day is beautiful and surreal. You're standing at the altar watching her walk toward you, and every comment section, every Reddit thread, every 11 p.m. phone call evaporates. She's just the woman you love walking toward you. The reception is great. Everyone dances. Her creator friends are actually fun. For one night, all the categories dissolve and everyone is just a person at a wedding. The honeymoon is in Portugal. For 5 days, you are blissfully offline. No content, no ring lights. She's different when she's unplugged. There's a guardedness that drops when the camera isn't a possibility. You see it, and it breaks your heart a little, because it means the guardedness is usually there and you just stopped noticing. On the last night, she says, this is the most relaxed she's felt in 2 years. You hold her hand and watch the river and try not to think about what happens when you fly home. What happens is the ring light goes back up in the spare bedroom. The schedule resumes. The apartment has 2 versions of itself depending on the time of day. Before 2 p.m., it's your home. After 2 p.m., it's a set. You learn to knock on the closed door, even though it's your apartment too. You learn that Thursdays are filming days and you should probably be somewhere else. You adapt. But adapting and accepting are different things, and you're not sure which one you're actually doing. The money changes things in ways nobody warns you about. She makes 3 times your salary. She pays the bigger share of rent. She buys you things, a watch, concert tickets, a birthday trip you couldn't have afforded. She's generous without being showy. But every gift is a quiet reminder of where the money comes from. You start working harder, not because she asked, but because you need to feel like you're contributing equally, even though the math will never work. She tells you it doesn't matter. You know she means it. It still matters to you. Your friends fall into 3 categories: the ones who don't care, the ones who are weirdly fascinated, and the ones who quietly disappear. The first group is small but loyal. The second group asks too many questions at parties. They think they're being subtle. They're not. The third group just stops calling. You run into one of them at a grocery store 6 months later. He's friendly but awkward. He mentions getting together soon. You both know it's not going to happen. You're not angry. You're just aware that your life has become a filter that not everyone can pass through. The internet finds you eventually. Someone connects your LinkedIn to her profile. There's a thread about you on a forum you didn't know existed. People have opinions about your job, your appearance, about why you'd marry her. You read every word. You feel sick. You never read it again. She apologizes like it's her fault. It's not. But it's not nobody's fault either. The first real fight about the job happens 8 months in. You see something on her monitor you wish you hadn't. You don't say anything that night. 3 days later, it erupts. You say things about boundaries. She says things about trust. You both land punches exactly where they're aimed. The silence afterward is the loudest thing in the apartment. You sleep on the couch, not because she kicked you out, but because you need to be alone with the version of yourself that just said all of that. You're not sure you like him. You set clearer boundaries the next morning. The spare room gets a lock. Filming days go on a shared calendar. She starts going to a studio instead of working from home. These are structural fixes for an emotional problem. But they help. The apartment starts feeling like a home again. Year 2 forces you to answer questions you've been avoiding. Do you want kids? She does. You do too. But you can't stop thinking about what happens when your kid is old enough to type their mother's name into a search bar. She's thought about this longer than you have. She has an exit plan. 3 more years, invest the income, transition into consulting. She shows you a spreadsheet. It's meticulous. This isn't someone who fell into something recklessly. This is someone who built a career with the same discipline your MBA friends bring to their startups. You just never framed it that way because the product is different. And the product being different is your problem, not hers. Something shifts around month 18. You stop monitoring, not as a decision. You just realize one day that you haven't thought about her subscriber count in weeks. The jealousy hasn't vanished. It's just quieter. Like a noise you lived next to for so long that your brain stopped registering it. You're at a barbecue when someone's husband makes a joke. The group freezes for half a second. Your wife doesn't flinch. She redirects the conversation so smoothly most people don't notice what happened. You watch her do this and feel something unexpected. Pride. Not pride in what she does, but pride in how she carries it. The composure. The refusal to be ashamed. You couldn't do that. You're not sure most people could. Your dad becomes her biggest defender. At a family dinner, your cousin makes a remark. Your dad shuts it down so fast the table goes silent. Later, you ask him about it. He shrugs and says she makes you happy, and anyone who has a problem with that can talk to me. You didn't know you needed to hear that until you heard it. She retires from the platform on a random Wednesday. No announcement, no farewell post. She tells you over dinner like she's mentioning she switched phone plans. You ask how she feels. She says relieved and a little sad, which is more honest than you expected. She built something from nothing. It paid off your student loans. It funded the down payment on this apartment. She doesn't regret it. You've stopped wanting her to. 5 years in. You're at a dinner party with new friends who don't know the history. Someone asks how you two met. She says a rooftop party in Brooklyn. You say she was out of your league. Everyone laughs. Nobody asks follow-up questions because it's genuinely not the most interesting thing about her anymore. You're driving home and she's picking the music. She puts on a song you both love and sings along badly. You think about all the versions of this life you almost didn't get. The version where you walked away after the Tuesday night confession. The version where your mother's phone call won. The version where the Reddit threads got inside your head permanently. None of those versions have this car, this song, this woman singing off key like nobody's listening. She catches you looking and asks what's wrong. Nothing's wrong. She raises an eyebrow. You tell her you're thinking about how the person you married is nothing like the person the internet thinks she is. Then you realize that's not quite right either. She's all of those people. The businesswoman, the performer, the wife, the bad singer. She didn't leave one version behind to become another. She just kept building. And you kept showing up. She takes your hand off the gear shift and holds it. You let her. And the song keeps playing.